That evening, the brothers joined our family for a meal on our terrace among the sleeping flowers. We sat on cushions on the cool stone. Lamps hung from alcoves around us, swinging lightly in the breeze. Nearby, a musician plucked on the strings of her veena, and the notes rose like longing into the sky. The food was simple, as it usually was in my father's house. Rice cooked with ghee, lentils, a couple of vegetables, and a milk dessert prepared personally by my mother as a special welcome to guests who might soon become family. What spiced the meal was our anticipation and, in my case, anxiety. Vishwamitra had departed for Ayodhya, and Shatananda had gone to bring Uncle Kushadwaja and my cousins back with him. Would they be successful in their quests? My father was optimistic, already treating Ram and Lakshman like the sons he had never had. But I set little store by his confidence that all would turn out well because it was what he always said. Urmila, however, didn't share my doubts. Now that her marriage to Lakshman in her mind was only a matter of time, she dropped her shyness and reverted to her usual lively, chattering self. She was full of questions, and in answer, Ram told us stories of their adventures while on the road with Vishwamitra. Lakshman, visibly proud of his brother's prowess, added details of valor that Ram had modestly left out. In the lamplight that threw up shadows of enchantment around us, we listened as the brothers painted for us their travels through the forests and their encounters with the Rakshasas. I was forced to admit to myself with some chagrin that Shatananda seemed to have been right. The Rakshasas, according to the brother, were a ferocious species. They knew strange enchantments, shooting arrows of fire or raining blood down on their foes. They could grow to enormous sizes in a heartbeat. As she listened, Urmila gripped my hand, but surreptitiously. She wished Lakshman to think her brave. My own breath grew uneven as I heard of Ram's battle with the demons Tataka, who liked to fashion her clothing from the skins of Brahmins she had tortured and killed. She came at Ram brandishing a huge salt tree, Lakshman said, threatening to make a meal of him. But he dispatched her with the Vajraban. What is a Vajraban? Urmila whispered. It is a divine lightning arrow, much more than an arrow, really. Only great warriors are given the gift of invoking it, Lakshman explained kindly. Ram has many such astras, some far more powerful. He was the best student at our Gurukul, so our teacher passed on the secret knowledge of these astras to him. The glance he sent towards his brother was one of pure adoration. He taught you the use of many astras too, Ram said with a smile. But Lakshman had moved on to the next part of his tale. When Tataka fell to the ground, the forest shook as though it was an earthquake. Her corpse was as large as a mountain. Her fangs, she had opened her mouth for a death scream, so I had a good look at them, were like elephant tusks, stained red from all the blood she had drunk. Ram went on to kill thousands of other demons. No exaggeration. You can ask, says Vishwamitra, who were terrorizing the holy ones. Their magic tricks were no match for my brother. You killed as many Rakshasas as I did, brother, Ram said mildly. And remember, our strength was enhanced by the blessings of the holy ones. There you go, being over modest again, Lakshman said. Kings need to know their own worth and to make sure that others know it too. It is our father who is king. Ram's voice was stern. May he reign for many years more. Lakshman bowed his head in obedience, though the line of his lips was stubborn. It was clear that in all things his allegiance lay with Ram, that he saw himself at once as his brother's prime protector and follower. A small disquiet rose up in me. Even if all went well and the 4 marriages took place as planned, what kind of husband would he make Urmila? Was there any space left in his heart for her? And for that matter, what of Ram? He hadn't spoken to me all evening, although I often found his eyes on me. Was he angered by my taunting words? And even if he was not, where did a wife fit in among all his responsibilities to his lineage, his family, and his kingdom? All too soon, dinner was done, and servants brought us bowls of rosewater to wash our hands. My parents wished the brothers a peaceful night and started on their way to the royal chambers. Urmila and I were not ready for the evening to end. There was so much more we wanted to know about the brothers, but decorum decreed that we follow them. So we did. As Urmila and I walked across the garden towards our living quarters, we were surprised to hear footsteps hurrying behind us. My heart beat hard as I turned to see who it was. The brothers had followed us. Ram came forward, palms joined, and bowing formally, asked if he might speak to me in private. The sconces lighting the tree-lined path flickered so that light and shadow danced on his face. I nodded, suddenly shy. Urmila threw us a curious look, then asked Lakshman, if he would be so kind as to walk her to the prince's quarters. Lakshman hesitated, but Ram must have given him a sign because he bowed and followed my sister. We heard their footsteps receding from us and my sister's laughter like a spring bubbling up out of the earth, and then we were alone in the garden amidst fragrant vines that I had nurtured. Ram looked away from me towards the goddess temple. He seemed uncomfortable. It struck me that, valiant warrior though he was, he had not had much experience in speaking to young women. The knowledge filled me with a kind of tenderness. Finally, he spoke, his voice stilted. Princess, I know I am behaving inappropriately, speaking to you alone in this manner without your parents' knowledge. But I must, because I need to apologize and explain myself. When I told your father of my vow, I know I distressed you, but I could not go back on my promise or abandon my dharma. Only misfortune can come of an alliance based on broken vows. I watched him carefully. I wanted to understand everything possible about this man. Right conduct was clearly important to him, as was his word, more important than anything. Again, the question came to me, what of his wife? Would he ever consider her to be as important as his dharma? What would his dharma say about the importance of a caring wife? Ram continued, I was tempted, though, for the first time in my life, I regretted that rash vow. I wanted to push it away. My heart longed to remain silent so that I could place the betrothal garland around your neck. Ram continued speaking, his voice rigid with emotion. You asked me, rightly, why I hadn't informed your father of my vow in advance. I should have, but I was weak. I didn't want him to turn me away before I had even had the chance to try and win you. I knew that if I left Mithila without you, there would be a great emptiness at the center of my life. So, selfishly, I remained silent. I inclined my head in assent, my heart too full for words. I had already dropped my anger. Now his confession plucked the sting of rejection out of my heart. And then, when the problem seemed insurmountable, Ram added, you found the perfect solution, one that had escaped even the royal advisors. I basked in his admiration for a moment. Then I had to tell the truth. I prayed to the goddess. The answer came from her. Then it is a sign that the gods smile on our life, he said. I went to bed that night hoping for another dream of Ram. A joyous one this time, now that he had declared his affections. A dream did indeed come to me, but it was not of Ram, nor was it joyous. In the dream, I rushed through air, borne aloft, though I didn't know how to fly. My hair streamed behind me. My tears blazed like a meteor's tail, furious and filled with loss. I wrenched my heavy gold bangles from my arms, my bridal necklace from my throat. I threw them down upon the forest far below. But who would find my trail in that wilderness? With all the hatred in my heart, I cried, "Hear my curse, trickster! You and your evil lineage will fall to perdition for this. Your land will turn to ash." A voice answered, laughing, "I don't care about the future. In this moment, I have you. That is enough for me." But who was it I spoke to with such loathing? And who was it that responded with such dark elation? I don't know. Thanks for listening. Now some word power. My father was optimistic, already treating Ram and Lakshman like the sons he had never had. But I set little store by his confidence. Set little store by means to believe something is very important, to have regard or esteem for. As she listened, Urmila gripped my hand, but surreptitiously. Surreptitious. Surreptitious means secret. Lakshman, visibly proud of his brother's prowess, added details of valor that Ram had modestly left out. Prowess prowess means skill, expertise. I was forced to admit to myself with some chagrin that Shatananda seemed to have been right. Chagrin means annoyance or distress at having failed or have been humiliated. She came at Ram brandishing a huge salt tree, Lakshman said. Brandish means wave, shake. The glance he sent towards his brother was one of pure adoration. Adoration means deep love and respect. It was clear that in all things his allegiance lay with Ram, that he saw himself at once as his brother's prime protector and follower. Allegiance means loyalty, faithfulness. A small disquiet rose up in me. Disquiet means uneasiness, worry, anxious. There was so much more we wanted to know about the brothers, but decorum decreed that we follow them, so we did. Decorum means decency. Decree, decree means order, command. Finally, he spoke, his voice stilted. Stilt means a person's behavior or way of speaking or writing too formal and not natural. And then, when the problem seemed insurmountable, Ram added, "You found the perfect solution, one that had escaped even the royal advisors." Insurmountable, insurmountable means unconquerable, invincible. But who would find my trail in that wilderness? Trail means a mark or a series of signs or objects left behind by the passage of someone or something. Hear my curse, trickster. You and your evil lineage will fall to perdition for this. Perdition, perdition means hell. But who was it I spoke to with such loathing? Loathing. Loathing means disgust, hatred. And who was it that responded with such dark elation? Elation means delight. Thanks for listening.